Cliffe Knechtle explains on Logan Paul's podcast why abortion is considered murder by Christians. Enjoy.
I really believe in women being able to make choices with their own body, and I don't think a panel of men should have any say in that.
Right. You mentioned to us when we walked in that you're here to see the ultrasound of your child.
Yep.
Okay, last generation,
Yep.
it was only 35% of the U.S. was pro-life.
Yep.
Now it's 51%. Like, that's a pretty, it's because of ultrasound.
Is that true?
That's true. It's a pretty drastic change because of ultrasound.
Insane.
And I think right then and there, you see obviously the baby being torn apart. You see the baby having emotions, back to your point.
Yep.
And you ascribe value to that fetus or pre-fetus. And so when I hear, for example, over in the Netherlands, I first heard it and I got excited when I heard, Down syndrome, they're finding a type of cure. Well, I found out they're just aborting all Down syndrome babies.
What's a cure?
That's a cure, right? That's some type of cure.
Yeah.
And it's ascribing zero value to Down syndrome babies. We have a bunch of Down syndrome kids in our church who are the happiest, most joy-filled, most life-giving human beings imaginable. And so that's when you play fast and loose, I think, with human life. And again, if you don't ascribe value to something outside of, they're healthy, or they're not going to be a suck on society. If it's something beyond that where it's, no, they have value no matter what because they're created in God's image. They reflect even God's image. Then you can't end that life.
In the instances of the most unfortunate circumstances, based on your scripture, you're still unwilling to be okay with that decision of killing an unborn child, even if it was a product of...
The Bible never uses the word abortion. Okay? The Bible does say we're not to murder. And murder is killing motivated by selfishness, hatred, or revenge. Obviously, there's such a thing as self-defense, which is different ethically. So murder is killing motivated by selfishness, hatred, or revenge. All right, so then obviously the hard question is, when does human life begin?
Yeah.
Right? That's the hard question.
It's the question.
Now, in every major university hospital in the United States, if a body lying on an intensive care bed has brain activity and heartbeat, doctors and nurses are legally and medically responsible to do everything within their power to sustain that life. So between 6 to 10 weeks after conception, that, quote, little piece of skin in a woman's womb has both heartbeat and brain activity.
It has the credentials to merit what we consider life. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Okay, good. So then the difficult question becomes, well, what about before 6 to 10 weeks? All right. What is the difference between a 2-week-old fertilized egg, a 6-month-old fertilized egg, and you? I would argue there is no difference in kind. There is a difference in degree, obviously, of maturation. Different degree of maturation, no difference in kind. 100 times out of 100, that little fertilized egg is going to come down a woman's birth canal, never as an alligator, never as a chicken or a bunny rabbit, 100 times out of 100 as a baby, as a human life. So therefore, I would argue that before 6 to 10 weeks, even though there is no brain activity or heartbeat, you've got a human being there because there's no difference in kind, just in degree of maturation. So that is why I would be very, very hesitant to go down the abortion path.
Makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense.